just going to get right into the reading. How I read my cards is the major arcana, of course, are the big events that are happening in this month, which does seem to be about you rebalancing things. Could be also be dealing with a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. You are also going through, sorry, I see Scorpio energy here as well. I feel like you're going through a big transformation in your life, big changes, because that's right next to the Wheel of Fortune. We also have you really, lots of big changes for you. The Emperor is also a card indicating you are trying to maintain some level of control over the situation, and you're keeping yourself in a fairly strong disposition. So I would say that you are going through a big transition, but I feel like you will gain some kind of structural alignment over time. Now, the rest are sort of inner arcana, so I won't get into all of those until we read the cards. So what I see here overall is you're still entering a month of some tension, but that's because you're going through a transition. So I do feel like there will be some eventual emotional and structural realignment, as I mentioned. So there's early struggles here with the Five of Wands where you're being tested, but this also indicates that there's a lot of steady, disciplined sort of action here between the Knight of Pentacles as the clarifier and, of course, Emperor showing up. So I feel like you're following the guidelines. You're doing what you need to do. You're following some sense of order. And either way, despite feeling a little bit tested, I feel like you're steady-minded, disciplined, reflective, and I feel like you will be in your relationships as well, because there's some kind of karmic balance that's restoring things. So I feel like the bottom of the deck, there might be a celebration or something here that's come through, or this could be an underlying energy, something like that with Three of Cups, some kind of reconnection or something to the past here as well. But either way, I feel like the conflict or the tension is where things with, family, friends, or it creates some kind of indecision here is what I would say. Around somehow it impacts your finances as well. I feel like you're unsure who to trust, that kind of feeling. There's someone from the past, like I mentioned earlier, that's going to be coming in here as well. That has a sense of that's coming through as an emotional support. So there's something there about reconciliation. This as also there's a father figure here as well, but something of a reconciliation here as well. So I feel like you also are struggling a little bit with your finances to do things in a slow, steady pace, but like overall, with the energy of the Four of Wands in here as well, could be the energy, something around your foundation, but positive. It's positive relationships or milestones that are possible mid to late November. So I feel like there's some really good changes there. So any misunderstandings that you are going through or imbalances, I feel will ultimately resolve because there's honesty and there's fairness here. So I would say reframing those conflicts as opportunities to practice, your perspective taking. So seeing things from a different angle. So what is this person, showing me about my own reactions? Anything that involves distress tolerance. Like, so whenever there is a tense interaction or a tense thought or something that's, escalating, I would say to prevent that, you could pace your breathing. Start looking around the room to look at things that will slow or interrupt thought. But there's also something here about distortions. So, when you get that thinking of everyone's against me or I can't trust anybody or whatever, replace it with a reality-focused thought. So something that you do feel sure of. Now, there is something here with your finances. Again, I do see a little bit of a struggle there. There's conflicts, maybe around bills, paying, that kind of thing. But either way, there's still an upper hand of control. So I feel like there's slow progress. And I do feel like your persistence and your discipline will pay off. Delays are just a little part of this, and it's likely, but that impatience is going to lead you to frustration. I feel like you need to plan carefully your budget, stick to a routine, that kind of thing. We all have the card of the Death card with the Wheel of Fortune. So big changes happening for you, big changes, because this is the cycle of change, something completing itself. So it feels like it's an ending of a financial habit or a project or something that you did that was not sustainable. And so it's going to open space for something that is going to be sustainable. It's not to say you have that in mind yet, but we'll see here as we feel the rest of the cards out. I feel like your challenge right now is your catastrophic thinking about finances, that things are slow, because the reality is a slow and steady wins here. You have to build mindfulness, ground your spending, avoid emotional purchases, visualize the new path, financially clearly. Write down 3 things that you can do each day that sort of help to benefit you in moving that forward. Now, we also have sorry guys, thanks for joining too. I just see a couple of you on there. Sorry, just checking it out here. Hi Mike, hi Pop, and hi. I might be able to do a reading. It just depends. I want to finish this one first, just to get a little bit of insight of what's going on, so I don't confuse the reads mixing them up. So anyway, now we're on to the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords is that energy next to the Two of Swords, so that indicates that there is a bit of a stagnancy or a rest period going on for you. So I feel like there is a little bit of a holding pattern here, and that's important because you do need to first off track your thought patterns that lead you to procrastination or indecision. Kind of look at the way that you were previously thinking, and then look at how you can sort of regulate yourself to manage anxiety, and how change will impact you, because change is inevitable. So every time there's a change, you have to look for ways to anchor your feelings, things that make you feel confident when you face those transitions. So there is something here about a slow, steady effort. Again, is the best advice here because of the cards that I see. I feel like you need to focus on your discipline rather than immediate rewards. Reflect, rest, that's allowing the mental space before you make any big decisions with the Four of Swords here. And of course, you are in a pause with the Two of Swords. So you're not quite making the decision yet. It's the space before making the big decision. I do feel like that Two of Swords next to the Justice here is the actual decision that is going to be you will make space for, but this is based on identifying truths. You want to avoid that you're avoiding, and really start to take a look at old grudges and ineffectual habits and limiting financial strategies. You want to start to seize opportunities with a certain level of preparation, which is where the Wheel of Fortune comes. So this is anticipating rather than reacting. So you maintain your supportive connections, and that's what the Two of Cups is here. And I do feel like that is next to, well, even though the Three of Cups is at the bottom of the deck, I feel like it's a more positive reconnection. So I feel like that will help to buffer some of the stress. Could be somebody coming in from the past, with the Six of Cups here as well. But either way, I feel like it provides some guidance, and you want to channel that energy more positively, because we have the Page here as well. Doing a lot of research with this card. Incoming communication here as well. So there's something here about structure, and you're curious, and you're taking initiative to lead into a more stable space. So things are still looking up with that. Despite the Page of Pentacles, really sure where you're going with that monetary aspect of things, I still feel like you have the structure and the curiosity to kind of figure it out. So into relationships, there might be some conflict, but you're reflecting on that, and you will find a resolution, and that'll be about honest communication, trust, reconciliation is here. Again, your finances, there's slow progress, but there are opportunities, likely mid-month, but discipline and planning are critical for you at this period in November. As far as gains, I feel that's more along the lines of your emotional clarity and the reconciliation. So there's some small celebrations there, some steady movement, and then there's fairness as well. But the key lesson here is that the stability comes through patience, reflection, and honesty. So let go of what's not, that's standing in the way of your progress. So again, track your distorted thoughts, anything that seems like thinking about, money or others. Sorry guys, I get like sinus stuff going on here. And then there's also that managing your emotional state, your overreactivity, and practice self-soothing. So grounding yourself in nature, look for ways to interrupt your thought so that you can face things incrementally rather than all at once, and then escalating it to levels that, are disproportionate to what the actual event is. And then we also have visual success. If you can visualize where you want to be, rehearse it, stay calm, have confident responses to conflict and anchor new habits. Know where you want to go, figure out 3 different things that you can do to achieve that each day, toward moving into the place where you feel that you want to be. So I feel like it's really more about making a detailed week-to-week plan for yourself, or a timeline that will be practical to show you how to move ahead. So that's what I have for you, Cancer. And I'm going to do another read here. I'll just do one before I go. Sorry, I'm just going to see what the question was there. For Pop. Okay. All right, Pop. I will. Did you have a specific question, or you want me just to pull general? To see what cards come out here. What is coming in for Pop? The first card that wanted to come out just sort of fell out was the Page of Wands. So there's some kind of communication. Could be with a younger person here as well. Okay, so let's see. What is coming in for Pop? What's the good things? World. Okay. And what's the obstacle? Okay, well, all right. What's coming in for Pop? Lovers, 5 of Pentacles, Moon, Queen of Wands, High Priestess, King of Wands, World card, Knight of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, Strength card, 10 of Wands. Bottom of deck is Devil. Okay, so what I see here is kind of a mix of things. I would say that with the Lover's energy, this is more of, there's in all of the read here for you, Pop, what I see here is it's more about challenges. There is still growth, and I feel like relationships and money seem to be for sure at the forefront here. So how we're going to kind of integrate all of this is, initially, you started out with the 5 of Pentacles, so that does feel like a sense of you being insecure or financially feeling left out or feeling like you're in lack. I do feel like you've got some up and down sort of moods here with the Moon card. So, I mean, it could be in around a connection, and you're trying to make a decision, possibly around a lover's connection or something along that line. I do feel like there is something that is, I don't know if this is you or another person. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Queen of Wands is somebody who's very exuberant, gets a lot of attention, personal magnetism. So if it's you or the other person, this is somebody I feel that's involved. Could be also with a water sign. I definitely feel like there is something here about having to follow your intuition, because I don't feel like you're going to get any direct messages specific, in the external world. It's going to have to be something intuitive that you have to, an inner knowing, which means that something will be revealed on a, as you need to know basis. So there's patience that you have to lead with in this month. The King of Wands is definitely an energy of leadership and vision, bold energy. So I feel like whether this is you or somebody else, I feel like this is like a creative time or something along that line, very fiery sort of duo in some sense, or maybe there's somehow there's a person here, ambition, something to do with creativity, but I still feel like you're really holding on to your money. And there's something here about independence, finances being really important here, but it seems like you're very self-sufficient, independent. You have those things available to you. I would still say that there's a lot of inner courage though, because there's a burnout energy here. So I feel like you're exhausted. There's a lot of passion and a connection. I would definitely say that there's temptation toward it, and maybe even some overindulgences or something here, like a karmic tie. There's some kind of very strong attachment that's not necessarily for the good, or at least it's tied to something that needs to be through, because there's something there that's a relationship that may be confusing, manipulative, or based on, again, some kind of karmic attachment pattern. I still feel like you've got a lot of, whether it's you or another person, there's a lot of charisma, emotional appeal, all of that's really creative energy, romantic energy that still flourish, but you have to be patient because the emotional control is required here, and that'll help you to kind of get through some situations there. I feel like this is, whether this is a relationship based on convenience or obligation, I'm not sure which, but it feels like you have a sense of guard around your resources. There might be some kind of scarcity mindset, even though I feel like you have either eventual stability or independence, or there's significant progress made in the financial front. But I feel like that's through consistent effort and smart money management. But I still feel like there's an overburden of some sort about, where your energy is being spent. So I would still say that your energy is high for pursuing your passions and leadership kind of in projects, self-expression, things along that line. But I still think that it does suggest that you may reach some kind of a milestone here in this month with that project. So something might go really well, actually, that helps you to feel like things are set again. But there is some kind of, like I said, moon devil energy. So there's a hidden motive, or there's something illusion or attachment or something like that that's still there. But I feel like your overall financial independence or stability is here. You do have a lot of emotional mastery. And again, there's something here about completing a cycle with the World card. So it feels like a creative or an emotional opportunity could be coming in for you, very strongly more on the emotional side of things. You just want to kind of anchor yourself in that scarcity. I do feel like there's some really good potential here for you. It still feels like I said, kind of a manipulative situation in a romantic area or something, or in a connection. But I feel like there's good news or something that's coming through regarding a romantic connection here as well. So if that's the past energy, then this does feel like things could move in a more positive direction, despite, you're going to have to kind of lines with the High Priestess. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight. That was as long range as you were hoping for, but that's all I can sort of see at this time. Anyway, that's what I have for you, Pop. So guys, keep moving forward. Never give up. It's not how good you are, it's how good you want to be. And you're welcome.